I came back from serving my country only to have my own neighborhood HOA call me a disgrace because of my tattoos, but what they didn't know was I had the power to uncover a secret so dark it would destroy them forever. I never thought the country I served for years would welcome me back with disrespect from my own neighbors, but here, I'm standing on my own porch with their HOA president screaming at me about my tattoos, like they were some kind of crime against the neighborhood. I had been in the army for 8 years, seen deserts that could melt steel and nights so cold you could hear your own breath freeze. I came back with scars both on my skin and deeper inside, and the ink I put on my arms wasn't decoration, it was survival. Each line, each mark, a story of the brothers I lost, and the nights I barely made it home. So when this HOA woman, Karen, of course, she looked me in the eye and told me my tattoos were lowering property values, something inside me started to burn hotter than any battlefield I had been on. She said, "This is a family neighborhood. We can't have people like you displaying gang symbols on your body." I almost laughed because the only gang I was part of wore the flag on their shoulders, but I could see she wasn't joking, she was serious, and she handed me a notice. $200 fine for visible tattoos outside my home. Apparently their bylaws allowed them to regulate appearance, including excessive body art. I thought it was a sick joke, but then more letters came week after week, violations piling up, $200, then $500. Then a threat that if I didn't cover up, they would take me to court and place a lien on my property. I tried reasoning. I told them about my service, showed them the meaning of my tattoos, but every time I saw Karen smirk, it was clear this wasn't about rules, it was about power. And then one night I came home to find something taped to my door, an anonymous letter. It said if I wanted to stop the harassment, I should look into the finances. The words looked rushed, panicked, almost like someone was afraid of being caught. I didn't know what to make of it, but the next day, I drove to the county office and requested public records. What I found made my stomach drop. The HOA board had been funneling money from fines into a separate account, payments to companies that didn't exist. Maintenance bills for landscaping that was never done, thousands of dollars gone, and the signatures on the checks all pointed to Karen. I could feel my heart hammering in my chest. I wasn't just a soldier anymore. I was about to become their worst nightmare. I printed everything, filed copies with the county, and called a few of my old army buddies. One of them now working private security, another with legal connections. They all told me the same thing: get everything in order, then hit them where it hurts. 2 weeks later, the HOA scheduled their big quarterly meeting, the one where all homeowners had to attend. Karen walked in with that same smug-faced clipboard in hand, ready to announce more fines, more control, more power. I waited until she was halfway through her speech. Then I stood up in the middle of the crowd and dropped a thick folder of documents onto the table. I said, "These are the records showing how your board president has been stealing your money, using your fines to pay fake companies lining her pockets, while threatening veterans and families with liens." The room went dead silent. Karen's face turned pale, then red, then she tried to laugh it off, saying it was a misunderstanding, but every homeowner in that room could see the numbers, the signatures, the proof. Someone shouted, "You've been robbing us, Karen!" Another yelled, "I want my money back!" The crowd turned on her so fast it was like watching a battlefield collapse. Karen stammered, tried to leave, but the county deputy I had tipped off was already waiting outside. She was escorted out of the building in front of everyone. The HOA board dissolved within a month. Homeowners voted for a new leadership. The bylaws about tattoos were thrown out and every unfair fine was reversed. I walked down the street one morning and the same people who had once looked at me like I was a criminal now nodded with respect. Some even apologized, but Karen, she disappeared. No one saw her again. Rumors said she left town. Others said she faced charges for fraud, but I didn't care. She was gone. And now when I sit on my porch with my tattoos visible under the sunlight, I feel something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not just peace, but victory, because those scars on my skin told a story of sacrifice, and now the silence of that neighborhood tells a story of shame. They mocked me for the marks I earned in service. They thought they could find me into silence, but they forgot one thing: I didn't survive war just to lose to an HOA. Now every time I see them pass me with their heads down, I just smile, because my scars tell a story of sacrifice and their silence tells a story of shame.